Hi everyone, my name is Ashley with the Essential Healing Collective and welcome to class. Today we're going to be working on a brief flow to open up your hips and find a little bit of space in your low back and sacrum area. So the first thing you should do is grab a mat if you have one. If not, for now, a towel, beach towel, something like that would do. You want to make sure that you're not sliding around as we move through our practice. Maybe grabbing 2 blocks or something that's going to bring the ground a little bit higher, book, something like that. And then let's talk about creating space. So very likely you are at home. So I want for you to find a space where you can be and just kind of create and claim a little bit of room for yourself. So even if there are other people in your house, people are making noise or doing something, taking a deep breath, and even if it's just the edges of your mat, carving out that space for you just for these next couple of minutes and giving yourself permission to let everything else kind of be. So give everybody a heads up that for the next few minutes, you're going to take some you time. If you have essential oils, I'm grabbing Serenity. This one just really helps me to kind of take a deep breath and get a little serene, to relax a little bit. So if you have an oil, I'm going to take a drop in your palms. And then once you've done that, rub those palms together, cup your nose, and take a few deep breaths. Big in through the nose. Even if you don't have essential oils, take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill your belly. And when you're ready, exhale, sigh it out. Keep those hands there if you got the oil. If you want to, take another deep breath in. Big exhale, sigh it out. And if you are standing, stay there. If you're not, make your way to a standing position. We're going to continue with our breath for a little bit longer. So kind of move around towards the front of your mat. Allow yourself to find a space where your feet are maybe hips distance, maybe a little bit wider, where you can close your eyes and take another deep breath in. Fill the belly like a balloon. And when it's all the way full, exhale out your mouth. Just let that go. Take another deep breath in when you're ready. And just start to notice. So big inhales in through the nose, slow, steady exhales out through the mouth. And just check in with yourself. Starting with the crown of your head. Just noticing how you feel, maybe gently noticing where you're holding tension. And the next exhale, see if you can soften that space a little bit, relaxing your jaw, down through the neck, relax the shoulders. Feeling into those arms, maybe wiggle your fingers. Checking in with how you're standing, seeing if you can find a little bit of space in that spine as you root down through the feet. Check in with those knees, the ankles, maybe lift the toes, rock back and forth. Let's take one more deep breath in through the nose together. Again, fill that belly nice and full. Exhale out the mouth, let it all go. And then just let your breath come and go for a moment. And with those eyes closed, you may be rocking around on those feet, finding your balance, or just noticing the sensation of the mat or whatever's beneath those feet. But again, connecting to that space, that intention that we set as a start, to take a moment and claim a little bit of space for yourself. And if you have some other intention that you want to set for these next few minutes together, it could just be to take a deep breath. It could be to release stress. It could be to generate some joy. Your intention is your own. But whatever that intention, set it and come back to it as we move through our practice, just like your breath. As we move, breathe. And if that's all you do for these next few minutes, then you've done exactly what you were meant to do. So, release those hands if you are holding them up someplace. And then I want for you to bring those feet underneath the hips. Lift the toes and rock around so you find the 4 corners. There's 2 points underneath the balls of your feet and 2 points at the back of the heel. And see if you can press down through all 4 corners and then release the toes, spreading them nice and wide. Notice what's happening with your knees here. And then lift the kneecaps just slightly. So engaging, slight bend in the knees, but lifting the kneecaps up so you're engaging the full length of the legs. And reach through those fingers, standing up nice and tall. So finding some space between the ribs, space in the neck, crown of the head. Lifting up as if there's a little string pulling you up. And then from here, I want you to press down through your right foot, You can soften those knees a little bit if that feels better. And then I want you to see if you can lift your left foot off the ground, but don't actually lift it. So you're pulling through, engaging all the muscles as if you were pulling that left leg up as if it were stuck with glue, but not leaning to the side. So push down through the right foot. See if you can lift the left and notice what happens in that leg. And relax. Wiggle those toes, rock around. And do the same thing on the opposite side. So push down through the left foot and notice what happens as you try to lift the right. Your kneecap lifts, your quad and your hamstrings start to engage, and maybe you feel even a little bit of space in this hip area right where the sacrum is. So from that side view, I'm pressing down through that right foot and then engaging, so you notice how everything fires up on this side and lift. So now I want you to try to do that on both sides. So you're pressing down through the four corners of the feet, but seeing it almost as if you could jump up off your mat. Keep that engagement, and then you're going to soften the knees, so slight bend in those knees, and start to hinge at the hips. So you're going to come forward. And coming just to parallel, maybe not even all the way. Notice those hamstrings, feel the knees, those quads, the calves, and stand it back up. We're going to do that one more time. So press through those feet, almost like you're going to jump and get some air, and start to hinge at the hips. So coming from here, not at the waist, hinge at the hips. Keep pressing through the four corners of the feet into those toes. On your inhale, come back up. And then relax. You're going to kind of walk that out a little bit. So if you're like me, like most of us, that felt way different than just standing. You felt engagement in little muscles and spaces that we don't typically feel. So as we move through this practice, I want for you to try to engage those legs. We're not locking out in the knee joint, so there's still a micro bend, but engage and lift and see how that creates a little bit of space in that low back area, lengthens the spine just a little bit more. And what that does is allows us to engage all of these supportive muscles to create space as we hinge in our forward folds, whether we're seated or standing. They're going to help to take some of the pressure off the low back and build some muscle memory around proper movement. So go ahead and come to the front of your mat. Feet are hips distance apart, and as we move through each of these folds, really see if you can focus on that height, that lifting motion without actually bringing the feet off the ground. On your inhale, arms come up overhead. And as you exhale, you're going to sweep the arms out to the side, dive forward. And pause here, place the hands on the shins, pull that low belly in, press through those feet, and inhale, come back up. I want to make one more note. So when you're seated, we have sit bones that are right at the base of the tailbone, and they're on either side. So as you are in that forward fold, I'll come back down. See if you can draw those sit bones in together. So you're pressing through the feet, draw the sit bones in. You feel those quads and hamstrings start to wrap outward. That space gives you a little bit more room here. Exhale, fold. Hands on those shins. Inhale, lift. Keep the action in the legs. And exhale, fold. This time you're going to plant those hands and step it back. You're going to come onto all fours. If this feels uncomfortable, you have sensitive knees, just place a towel or blanket underneath those knees. Spread your fingers and press through those palms. So you're going to inhale and drop that belly. We're going to move through a little bit of cat-cow here. Exhale, round it out. So tuck the chin in towards the belly button. Press through the palms, the tops of the feet. Inhale, flip it back over. So draw the shoulders back, press through those palms. And move with your breath as you exhale, round it out. Keep that pressure in the palms and the hands all the way down through those feet. Take 2 more rounds here. Big exhale as the heart rises. Gaze towards those thighs, maybe towards the belly button. Inhale, drop it back down. And then find that neutral spine. So you're going to come onto your seat. So now, this may be if the sit bones are a new concept for you. This will help you to get a better connection with them. So bring those hands underneath and slide any excess out of the way. Now you should be solidly on those sit bones. So those are the spaces that we're pulling together to get a little bit more space. And even as you do it now, you'll find a little bit more room in the spine. So if you are having any discomfort in this position, you can place some blocks underneath the knees. You also can take a pillow or blanket and place it underneath that tailbone and allow the pelvis to tilt forward to give you a little bit more space so that you can find some comfort in the pose. Yoga should never hurt. So just making sure to use props as needed and listen to your body. So from here, you're going to bring those hands out in front. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Exhale, walk the hands forward. And just going as far forward as feels good for you, and then tuck the chin. And maybe let the forearms find the mat. And then take a few breaths here. Notice what's happening in the low back, what's happening across the outer portion of the hip flexor. And breathe. Inhale, come back up. You're going to extend the right leg out. And then from here, if you're feeling any discomfort, you can again place a prop underneath that knee. And then on your exhale, walk your hands forward just as far as you feel the stretch across the left side. And being mindful that you're keeping the shoulders squared over that extended leg. Flex the foot back towards the face and make sure there's room for you to breathe. So inhale big here, maybe even lifting up, pressing through those palms. And exhale, soften down. Only going as far forward as this left side will allow you to go. So not anchoring down and pulling and forcing the stretch. Let gravity pull the body. And just start to breathe into it. As you exhale, you may melt a little further down. Try to relax the shoulders. Feel free to tuck the chin here. And release the back of the neck. Keep breathing, slow and steady, in and out the nose. And on your next inhale, see if you can walk that right hand a little bit further to the right. Maybe the left hand comes on top and just rest it on top of the leg. We're not anchoring down. Maybe it even comes to the outside. You may need to lift up a little bit higher for that. And then as you exhale, again, melt down. Tuck the chin slightly. Soften the back of the neck. Keep the left foot flexed. Keep the right foot flexed. Find some space here as you melt down. Breathing steadily. And on your inhale, come back, squaring the shoulders over that extended leg. Walking them all the way to the center. Notice what's happening in your side body here. And then reach forward, keep both feet flexed. See if you can tent the hands, so almost like a spider here. Tent the hands and then draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, soften the belly and the heart a little bit more towards the earth. Check in with what's happening on the inside of that right knee. If you feel any tension there, walk the hands back a little bit more. Maybe release the palms down. On your next inhale, walk those hands all the way up, and we're going to switch sides. So extending the left leg, draw the right leg in. And then pause here. Take a deep breath, press through those feet, and set something underneath the right knee if you need it. And then you're going to square those shoulders and slowly start to walk the hands forward. So this time, noticing what's happening in the right side body. Flex both feet and allow gravity to do some work here. And you'll notice that your sides are often different. So if you maybe went a little bit deeper into the stretch on the opposite side, that just means that maybe you spend a few more extra breaths on this side. Or if you have a practice at home, say this feels really good for you, then I would recommend that you repeat this particular pose or asana in your own practice, but spend a little bit more time. So maybe start with the side that is tighter, go to the side that's a little bit more open, and then come back for a few more breaths to the side that's a little bit more tight. Take one more deep inhale through the nose here. Soften all the way across the outside of that right quad. Let the heart melt down, and then maybe slide that left hand out a little further. Right hand comes to the top of that extended leg, or maybe just inside. And again, remember to adjust for your body. And find a space where you can again find a little bit of melt, a little bit more opening across this whole outer side. Take 2 or 3 more breaths here. One more big inhale and big exhale. One inhale, come back to center. Walking those hands all the way so that the shoulders are squared towards the front. Tent those fingers and draw the shoulders back. And melt the heart so far as it feels good. Again, checking in with the inside of the left knee this time. Keep those feet flexed. Feel free to tuck the chin. See if you can find breath and space in between those ribs, all the way out to the outer sides of the ribs. So breathing into the back body. And inhale, walk those hands back up. This time you're going to extend both legs forward. So from here, again, get those sit bones in touch with the mat. Flex those feet. And then you're going to lengthen through those legs. So the heels may pop up off the mat, but they don't have to. But there's an engagement here, and you're scooping, seeing if you can pinch those sit bones in towards each other. So you should find some more space in that spine, but some solid engagement in those legs all the way down to the feet. Inhale in through the nose here. So lift through the belly, lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, walk the hands forward. So keeping those feet, those toes flexed back towards the face. And again, only going as far as you can keep the spine straight. So if you start to round, you lose some of that engagement along the back of the leg. So lifting through the spine, press down through the backs of the legs, draw those sit bones in, and reach forward with the heart. Maybe even tent those fingers. And sometimes tenting them also helps us to resist the urge to anchor down and force a stretch. So do whatever feels comfortable so long as you're allowing gravity to do the work here, as well as the backs of those legs. Take 2 more breaths here. Keep the shoulders and the face relaxed. And on your inhale, come back up. Good. So shake that out on those legs. You're going to bring those feet and knees out to the right side. Come on to all fours. We're going to come into our first down dog. So bring those hands about a hand's length forward. Spread the fingers nice and wide. And then you're going to roll those shoulders back and scoop the armpits in towards each other, or wrap that tricep around so that it's coming inward. Pit of the elbow, the eye of the elbow might start to point forward. And spread the fingers nice and wide. Curl those toes under and lift the hips. So keep those triceps wrapping under, those armpits tucking in, and start to pedal your feet. Gazes towards your ankle, your shin, your knee, your upper thigh. Honor your body where you are in your practice today. And spread the fingers a little bit wider. You're pressing deeply into the palm, but particularly the space between the thumb and index finger. And then from here, you're going to inhale, lift the right leg. Keep the hips square. So the right toes are pointing down towards the mat. Press evenly between those palms, and then press out through the heel of the right foot. Pull the belly in. And see if you can lift it a little higher, press it out a little bit more. And then set it down. Reset your down dog. So if it's starting to fall into a plank position, send those hips up and back. And if this feels too intense on those wrists, then you can extend as you start to lift the left leg out. If being in your downward dog position feels a little bit more challenging than you would like in this particular flow, you can keep the knees down. Micro bend in that right knee as you press evenly through the palms, draw the belly in. Maybe lift a little higher on that left leg. Activate the back of the right leg and release. Reconnect to that down dog and pedal those feet. breathing in and out the nose. Next, inhale, lift through the right leg. We're going to come into a lunge on the right side. So draw that right foot in between the palms, drop the left knee, and release the top of the left foot. And then inhale, those arms come up. So keep those hips square. Right foot is underneath the right knee. Lifting through those arms. And if it feels better for those shoulders, bring them out in front just a little bit. We're not going to cactus out, as we want to keep nice long lines of energy here. Press through the right foot, find the four corners, press through the top of the left foot. On your next exhale, sweep those hands down, and then start to walk those hands back. Flex the right foot. So you can be in this runner's lunge, runner stretch. You can extend that left foot or right foot forward a little bit more if you like, or if those hamstrings are particularly open, you can come up into that forward facing triangle. Remember that you have props, so if you would like to bring the ground a little bit closer, inch those fingers or those feet a little closer if you like. But the point here is to square the hips and lengthen the right hamstring. So the hips are square facing the front of the mat. And inhale, bend that knee, drop the left knee down, arms come up. You're going to start to cycle with your breath. So on your exhale, palms come down. Inhale, stretch it out. Exhale, come back forward. Inhale, arms come up. And do that 2 more times. Exhale, release the palms down. And flow with your own breath, but one breath, one movement. And we'll meet up back in that lunge with the arms extended. There's one more cycle through. Lifting up, so draw those sit bones in towards each other. You're not clenching your cheeks, but you're drawing in and lengthening. And breathing. And the next time that you come into those arms extended in that lunge, you're going to exhale, reach those hands behind. Interlace the fingers behind the tailbone if that's accessible. And then just gently send them down and open the heart. If that's not accessible and you feel any tension on those elbows, place the hands on the hips and lift. And then exhale, come back down, moving any props out of the way. You're going to curl the left toes under, step the right foot back, come back into down dog. And pedal those feet. So pressing through the palms, lengthening through the arms, wrap the triceps under. And inhale, lift the left leg. Keep those hips square down to the mat. Exhale, hug that knee in, set it down. We're coming into a lunge on the left side. Inhale those arms up. Bend the four corners of the left foot and press through the top of the right. And breathe here just for a moment. So if the left hip is sliding forward, draw it back in line with the right. Exhale, release those palms down. Walk the hands back. And again, find your variation. So either flexing the left foot, keeping the right knee down, or lift up into that forward facing triangle. Breathing into the left hamstring. And find your breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sweep the arms down. Inhale, find a stretch. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale them down. One more cycle through. And the next time that you come back up into that lunge, press through the four corners of the left foot. Exhale those hands back. Interlace the fingers and just send them down. Open the heart. Keep pressing through the four corners. And release. Bring those palms to the mat. Curl the right toes under. Step the left foot back. And find that downward facing dog. Soften the heels down towards the mat as you press through the palms, lengthen the back of the legs. Breathe deep here. Next, inhale, lift that right leg up nice and high. Exhale, hug it in towards the nose. Hover just for a moment, and then release the knee to the mat. So we're coming into pigeon here. You have a couple of options. Those right toes can still press directly back. You can lower the left knee down and keep those arms extended. I'm going to show on this side. It's just a little bit easier for you to see. But if your hip is a little bit more open and you can slide that right knee out, if the knee is further than the hip, you're going to flex that foot. And the further forward the shin goes, the deeper the stretch that you'll feel in the hip. So grab a pillow, grab a block. Remember that if that knee is coming straight forward, keep the top of the foot on the mat, honor that ankle. We're all going to pause here for a moment, pressing through the palms, lift through the heart, and send it forward. Keeping that left knee on the mat, and breathe. Check in with this right hip. See if your exhales can soften it a little bit more. Take another round of breath here, and after that, we're going to stay for 6 to 8 more. So if you are starting to feel things open a little bit more, you're welcome to adjust your pose. You can come down onto your forearms. You can place your forearms on a prop. Find a space where you can keep the neck long, the shoulders relaxed, and breathe into the stretch. And as things start to open, maybe you adjust your use of the props, but utilize your props. They are there to help you get deeper into your practice in a safe way. If your foot starts to fall asleep, you feel any pain, pinching, burning, any discomfort, come out of that pose the same way that you came in. And just breathe. You have about 4 more breaths on this side. And if it helps to exhale out the mouth in this pose, please feel free to do so. Whatever you do, breathe deeply. I have 2 more on this side. Draw that right hip back, press through that leg, press through the top of the left foot. And on your next inhale, take your time to make your way out the same way you came in. So now that you're up in this extended pose with those arms nice and long, you're going to walk the hands towards that right knee. So keep pressing and then soften the left hip flexor down a little bit more. You may find a little bit more stretch here. Soften the elbows back. So long as you don't feel pressure in that right knee, go ahead and lean into that. Soften the elbows back a little bit more. Take your time as the heart starts to move towards the knee. Keep the neck long, keep those elbows tucked in. Breathe here, hover wherever feels comfortable but still a challenge. And inhale, press through those palms, walk back to center. You're going to curl the toes under on the left side. And we're going to take it easy here. So slide that right knee back, send it back into your tabletop. Then curl the toes under, lift up into your down dog, and pedal that out. Nice. Press through the palms, scoop those armpits in, tuck those, wrap those triceps in. We're going to do the opposite side. Inhale, lift the left leg, keep those hips square. Press evenly through the palms, and then exhale, hug that knee in and hover. And then set it down, finding your variation of your pigeon, flexing the foot if the knee is out further than the hip. Utilize your props, keep them close, lifting through that heart first before you melt it down. Relax across the shoulders, the face, all the way down the back. Sending those exhales into your left hip. And see if you can find 5 more breaths. 2 more. Big, steady, deep breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Next inhale, slowly make your way back into that extended arm position. And then start to walk your hands over the left knee. And again, honoring the differences in the sides. So as you press through those palms, as the elbows start to melt backwards, the heart starts to melt forwards. Check in and honor your body. So if this feels painful, uncomfortable, come back up, go back into your original pigeon position, or go ahead and exit out of the pose. Otherwise, stay here for 4 more breaths. Melt the heart a little bit more. Sink that right hip flexor down. Soften the heart, soften the belly. Relax the shoulders. And on an inhale, press back up, walk back to center. You're going to curl the toes under on the right. Lift those hips slightly as you slide the left foot back, sending yourself back into your tabletop. Curl the toes under, paddle those feet out. Press evenly through the palms. Breathe deep. We're going to release our knees to the mat nice and wide and take a child's pose. Big toes come together. Allow the heart to melt. Maybe the forehead finds the mat. You can stack those wrists or place the forehead on a block or pillow. Wherever you are, I want you to just check in from the toes up the soles of the feet. Check in with those ankles. See if you can relax them a little bit deeper where the front of the foot meets the mat. Feel the tension ease out of those calves, up through the knees, relaxing through the quads and hamstrings. But paying particular attention to the inner thigh, the hip flexor, and the sacrum. Breathe slow and steady for 3 more breaths, relaxing the shoulders and the face on the exhale. Reconnect to the intention that you set. Carve out some space to breathe. And on an inhale, take your time. Make your way back into all fours. Those wrists are under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And do a few more cat-cow. Maybe get a little bit more expressive as you lean into those intuitive movements, whatever your body is needing. And then curl those toes under, make your way back into downward facing dog. Pressing into those feet, pressing into the palms. Lift the tailbone a little bit higher, lengthen the hamstrings, the back of the legs. And breathe for 3 more breaths. Maybe even lift those toes off the mat. And on your next inhale, press through the balls of the feet. Exhale, drop the heels over to the left. Keep pressing through the palms, keep them in the same position. Inhale back to center. Exhale those heels over to the right. Maybe even gaze underneath that right shoulder. Keep those palms steady. Inhale, come back to center. Release the knees to the mat and come back onto your seat. So for this next pose, you're going to extend those heels out in front. And then you're going to move the sit bones out of the way, taking that right foot and crossing it over the left knee. So from here, everybody has some different options depending upon how you feel. So moving into traditional hero pose, you're going to wrap that left foot underneath or behind you, and then maybe Walk the right foot a little bit further, still keeping it in touch with the mat. And again, press through the sit bones, lift through the heart, and hug that knee in. So interlace those fingers on the outside of that right knee. And as you lift through the crown, maybe hug that knee in a little bit closer. Breathe here. And then wrapping that left arm around, slide the right arm behind you. Look, like this. Press through that palm so the spine can stay long. Hug the knee in and gaze over that right shoulder. One more inhale and exhale here. And on an inhale, release, come back to center. You're going to unhook that knee and extend both legs out and shake it out. We're going to make that on the opposite side, so extend those legs back out. This time, you're going to take that left foot and hook it over. And you may stay here and hug that knee in to find your twist, or you may wrap that right foot around, making sure both sit bones are still in touch with the mat here. So interlace those fingers as you push through the left foot. Press through the sit bones. Feel the length in the spine as you hug that knee in. Feel that stretch all along the outside of that hip. Heart is lifted, shoulders are soft. And then take that right arm, hug it around, left arm comes behind. Press through the palm as you gaze over the left shoulder. One more deep inhale and exhale. And then inhale, come back forward. And unhook and extend both legs out. Shake them out. Flex the feet. Take a quick forward fold. So just walk the hands forward. Not holding on to anything. Let gravity do the work and just check in with the hamstrings. Tuck the chin, lengthen the back of the neck. And then just a slow inhale, lift the chin. Gaze towards those toes, walk the hands back up. And find your staff pose. Exhale, walk them back down. We're going to do that one more time. Keep the toes flexed, tuck the chin, allow the heart to melt. And forehead to lower. Inhale, walk it back. Nice and slow. We're going to make our way onto our back. So hug those knees in. If you have any neck or spinal challenges, then you're going to just lower yourself down to the mat, nice and easy. Otherwise, you're going to balance on that tailbone, roll the shoulders back. Now, as we rock back, not going above the shoulder, so gentle tuck in that chin and rock it up. If that feels good, do it a couple times. Mindful of your neck and spine. Don't go as high as I just did. Lost a little control. Release those feet down. And then from here, feet come as wide as the mat, just drop them to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop them to the left. Do that a couple times, just noticing how that feels. If it feels particularly good on one side, stay there for a few breaths before going to the opposite side. And then come back to center. So from here, you're going to hug those knees in. Flex the feet and then allow the feet to come up to the sky. So we're coming into happy baby, holding on to the outer calves, ankles, shins. Wrap those fingers around the outer edges of the feet if that's accessible, anywhere in between here. Or put those hands in the knee pits and keep those shins parallel to the mat. So do what feels best for you and then press the tailbone down. Feel that in the hip flexors. Open across the low back. And then just gently rock back and forth. Find that happy baby. And when you're done, hug those knees in. And release the feet down. Extending them out. Roll the shoulder blades up underneath you. The palms come out, tops of the palms facing up, backs of the hands down on the mat. Deep breath in through the nose, big exhale out through the mouth. Do that again. Big inhale in, big exhale out. One more time. And exhale, let it all go. You're going to remain in this reclined position. So I'm just going to talk you through a very brief visualization, a way to relax the body. So again, connecting with your breath, connecting to the intention that you set. With your eyes closed, start to melt a little bit deeper into the mat. If you need to grab a blanket or pillow, place a pillow underneath the knee pits. Whatever you need to do so that you can feel comfortable and supported. Take another deep breath in, slow and steady. Exhale out the mouth. And then just allow your breath to come and go. Relax the soles of the feet. Maybe wiggle the toes a little. Feel that relaxation move up over the top of the foot. And relax the ankles. Find softness in those calves. Any tension that accumulated up the shins melts away. Relaxing the knee joints. Feeling any tension you were holding there up into the hamstring, just melt away. Relax the quads, the hip flexors. Feeling those hips and low back start to get a little bit heavier. Feel the belly soften as your breath rises and falls on its own. Relax the spine. Feel the ribs relax. Relax the heart, soften all the way across the collarbone, the shoulder blades. Feel length in your neck. Maybe gently press the back of the head into the mat. Lift the chin just a little. And then relax the jaw. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Softening the space between those eyebrows. Relaxing the eyes, the forehead, the top of the head. And on this next exhale, let go of anything that's still holding you to this space. Allow yourself to rest. Any thoughts, any tasks that start to make their way back in, gently let them go, knowing they'll be there when you get back. Just give yourself a few moments to breathe. Slowly start to deepen your breath. If you wish to stay here, then just relax until you're ready to get up. Otherwise, slowly start to wiggle your toes. Reach through your fingertips and stretch them up overhead. Take a full body stretch from head to toe. And when you're ready, gently roll to your right side. Pause there for a moment. Maybe place your head in the crook of your arm. Check in. Feel the softness. As you press into that left palm to come up into a comfortable seat, hold on to that light. Hold on to that space, to your breath. Inhale slow and steady, full deep belly breath in. Big exhale out the mouth, sigh it out. When you're ready, take another. Exhale, sigh it out. Take one more full deep breath. Fill the belly, fill the heart. And sigh it out. Allow your breath to come and go. Placing your hands over your heart. Check in with your intention. Check in with how you feel. What it is that you want to take away from this practice. And always pause for a moment of gratitude, both to this practice, but also to yourself for taking this time. Thank you for practicing with me.